What's up, guys? We are back this week. We're the first week after the triple header, and we've got a special guest. We have the one and only Formula Market joining us with us today, and he's here to talk about a lot about his platform and how it's affected by all these drivers and how you can use it. But Chris, Formula Market, how are we doing?
Dude, we are doing awesome. I just want to say, I Formula Market messaged us, and he's been cool supporter of us, and I'm supporting him as well. Like he sent me the link to try out his platform. I really like what he's doing. He's doing the F1 fantasy, but making it more of like a dynasty dynamic, and I think it's super interesting. And it was the first thing I thought of when I heard about fantasy. So excited to have him on. So yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on, guys. Love the pod. Glad to be here.
Well, sweet, dude. Well, I guess for starters, I just want to shine the spotlight on you, really, but let's talk about Formula Market. I guess in the best way of words, how would you describe your platform as it sits right now today?
So you kind of like did the elevator pitch already there. Just like it's a fantasy market for drivers, and it mimics the idea of you pick some drivers and then you watch the race, and then the outcome of the race affects some sort of um, fantasy result. But the spin that I'm trying to put on it is to think about it like the stock market. I think about each driver, and recently we just added team assets too. So you don't just buy now you can also buy the team, and we include the race performances in how the team values increase or decrease. So what goes into that is obviously race results, and then also like the fastest average pit times will get an increase in value as well too. Like that's something
Oh,
we've gotten a lot of feedback from different people. They're like, fantasy is fun. When I pick a constructor, I just get the points. But like, there's a lot of people who are really technically minded that want to see pit crew performance reflected in the way that something like this is put together, right?
dang, man,
Um,
Ferrari's got to
so,
be at the bottom of the leaderboard on that one,
well,
huh?
luckily for them, I just implemented that, so all of their past wins don't matter. From here on out, they got a clean slate. So, Singapore is the first race where we'll be incorporating pit crew performance and team performance. So
Okay.
and so yeah, so the other thing about this is we've talked a little bit about this idea as well of dynasty, and I played fantasy football forever and big into fell in love with fantasy football like 10 years ago, and I love the idea of the dynasty concept where you're thinking about drivers and teams beyond this race, beyond this season, multiple years down the line.
Oh
So, like,
yeah.
if you go check out the platform, right, we've got guys like Oscar Piastri on there. We have Colton Herta. We have Liam Lawson. We've got Felipe Drugovich. Like, we've got all these. We added Nick DeVries. So Nick DeVries, you could have bought shares of Nick DeVries before you even
Dude.
drove in practice.
The galaxy
Um,
brains on people for picking him up if that was the case. Holy hell.
we did. We had a couple guys like throw a bunch of the currency we use in the platform is called GPT. It's Grand Prix tokens.
Oh, nice.
Um, and so your GPT, we had a bunch of guys throw like a lot of GPT on Nick DeVries, and that paid off big. You'll see some, like you can see in the standings. There's a lot of like moving around recently because of Nick DeVries.
Yeah, I gotta say, when I first got on the platform, I was picking out my team or investing in these different players, and Oscar Piastri was one that I definitely knew I wanted to get a couple shares of because I knew he was in this weird situation, definitely looming like a contract being signed. So I knew I wanted to get a couple of shares of him. And then just recently, I picked up some Mercedes because I think they're the best constructor. So I had to get a little bit
Oh
of that.
yeah. Yeah.
I also invest in Joe Guan Yu because I really like the driver. I think he's a good talent, but I gotta say it's not performing very well for me. He's
He
got me
just
down a
got
little
no
bit.
support from the team, man. He just has no support from the team.
Yeah. I really like that how the pit stops play an effect into it. Is there any like I don't know if you can feasibly do this, but is there any way to like incorporate team strategy and like I guess it's pretty obvious when people do it wrong, but it's hard to
Yeah,
account for it when they do it right.
it's well, it's kind of yeah. I mean, I'd love to. But it's a little bit of a subjective thing. Like, I mean, like obviously you can tell if the strategy was good, then maybe you like you get a check, or if it's bad. It's kind of like a subjective
Yeah,
way to look into it.
it seems like most of the weight with that criteria would just weigh into if they did bad or not, because like you're saying, the subjectiveness is about how good they did, because they can have a
Yeah,
pretty average mediocre race but their strategy was fine, but
sure.
everybody on the track will know if somebody just absolutely got it wrong, so it's glaringly
Yeah, I
obvious.
guess
So it's like,
Yeah. I mean, if you finish, maybe what I'll do is I'll just put these like block race results. So like if you finish 5 positions below where you started, maybe your strategy, you like lose a certain amount of point. Your value decreases, and if you finish 5 points or more, your value increases by a certain amount. Basically, what you did is your strategy was solid enough to outperform your starting spot, and that
it's
that could just be a team input versus driver results. Because obviously drivers
mhm.
you could put all kinds of things
yeah,
in there.
It's
That's
almost
interesting.
like the defensive slot in fantasy football. They don't really get super good points for like, maybe allowing 10 points and just kind of being mediocre, but they go like negative points if they allow freaking, 30 or 40 points. So it's like I guess it's kind of comparable to that, but I mean, you're right.
Yeah,
That would be a hard thing to track.
I
I think
so go
I
ahead.
think potentially like people are buying and selling these assets, and I'm sure once the like more people are on the platform and it starts to take off more, you'll see more trading. And I think
Yeah,
maybe the sentiment, like if you see Ferrari have a horrible weekend where they just absolutely botch the strategy, which we know that's pretty likely.
Pretty
Uh,
every other weekend.
I think maybe you'll see people sell, and then that'll just, on its own, account for that,
sure,
disaster or whatever happens.
right.
So,
Yeah. So that's the other thing. The trading is open, 24/7, 365. So obviously, race results impact the value of a driver or a team. But anyone can trade at any time, and when you trade, has a similar impact to like if if you put a small amount of your GPT, you buy shares of someone, you put a small amount in, the price will fluctuate depending on how large your investment is, or if like 10 people put a lot of money into a certain guy, his price is going to ramp up a lot more than someone else. And the other thing obviously is like thinking about it from a sense of like you've got some of these like really strong reliable assets, someone like Max, right?
Oh
He's
yeah.
super expensive on the platform, but he's super solid as well too. But the problem is like if right now when he gets his points for winning, it's a much smaller percentage than Nick DeVries got 2 points, right? But someone like tripled their money on Nick DeVries versus you could never triple your money on Max because his return from a race will always be a percentage of his total as opposed to triple his price.
Yeah, of
mm,
course. It's just, I mean, he's just so regularly at the top, just like you're saying, that it's like when those results are almost expected, they just don't
Yeah,
have as big as impact as, like you said, like a Nick DeFries getting a P8, P9 win,
yeah,
scoring first
yeah,
points on his
yeah.
debut,
debut
or
race.
like it.
Right.
You're totally right. They just are weighed differently.
Hmm.
Yeah. But people could look at that and say, okay, you know what, I want to dedicate 90% of my principal to Max, Lewis, George. George is a great guy because he's a little bit cheaper, but he's pretty consistent as well
Dude,
too. So
that's
you could put
Mr. Sunday now.
80%. Yeah, you put 80% into him. It's like George is your, think about George like your treasury or like your bonds, right? Like your, that he's in that category. And then Nick DeVries is like he's like a penny stock, or he's like a
Buying some
Yeah.
Bitcoin with him.
yeah, he's one of those. But that's the way you think of it. And actually, I've been thinking about too, like maybe the teams, maybe we'll kind of work on setting up the team so that you can't really like lose your money, because you can lose your money if one of your drivers DNFs, or if he falls down the leaderboard. But maybe we'll just make teams more solid so that you can like take. They'll be more of like the steady put your money in a team and just kind of let it grow, versus okay, then I'm going to take some money and throw it onto someone who's a bit more risky, but the return could be big. This would be interesting to see how people play it.
Yeah, I have a question actually. Um, I got into the platform, and maybe this is on me because I didn't read much. I just kind of signed up and started buying assets.
Yeah,
Uh, but how do you earn money after you've after the tokens after you've invested on your players? Because I came back this week and I was like, oh, I have some money to spend. And I
right.
bought some Mercedes. How
Yeah,
does that work?
yeah. So the other way, the primary way to earn GPT is on race day. So if you buy, let's take like Joe was 500 GPT. If you buy one share of him, it costs you 500 GPT. Let's say he finishes 10th, he gets 1 point. His value will go up 100 GPT.
Hmm.
So there's like each point in the race is worth 100 GPT. So obviously 100 GPT for a guy who's priced lower is a lot better. Whatever.
Yeah.
We also do like a dividend payment. It's called you get daily returns. So we call them DRs. And every day you get a return on whatever you have invested right now. Um, Once we start to see, and this is something that I might wait to launch next season, or just as more people come in, I'm thinking about adjusting the return based on like the driver's performance. So like a solid guy like Max might give you a higher percent yield daily than a guy like Nick DeVries right now. So you can get a big race result return from Nick DeVries, and maybe you get a little bit smaller from Max. But if you buy into Max, you'll get a higher daily return. So again, just giving users like lots of different options to invest and think about how they want to, do they want to go with something solid where you're getting that daily return, but it's a smaller percentage, or do you want to go be a little more risky and kind of just throw a couple darts out and see if you buy a couple lottery tickets, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, dude, the way this is set up, you're exactly right. It's literally the stock market for Formula
Yeah,
One drivers, and
that's the goal.
it's actually the fact that it's that fast paced, and that the fact that it's not just like your regular cut and dry of okay, I'm gonna draft these players, these are my players for this weekend, I have the whole stock in this is my team, let's see how this does. You can literally you can almost buy a piece of a little bit of everything and play it exactly how you want it. You can be
Exactly.
super volatile, you can be
Yep.
super low risk, low reward, you could be high risk, high reward. Like that honestly is genius. I think that is
Yeah.
a perfect business model for this app and for
Yeah.
this whole like system.
Yeah. So that's the goal, is to like basically a have the platform set up in a way that no matter what your style is or your strategy is, there's a way for you to play. You can be conservative, and maybe longer term you're going to turn out with the most, with the highest team value, or you want to be a bit more risky, and maybe you'll kind of be in the bottom for a while, but once you hit one of these guys, you jump up the leaderboard. And obviously, like all things, at this point now, still working on what this might look like in the future. But the leaderboard right now, obviously, is just kind of bragging rights type thing. But the roadmap is totally to have some sort of like reward for the teams at the top of the charts, whether that's like some sort of merch or it's some sort of like race tickets, or like I don't know yet. Tickets are kind of blowing up in price, so that might be further down the road. Or just different stuff like that. And then I'd love to eventually like, this is super far down the road, but as you like, obviously with it being stock market, I also I've kind of thought about this in terms of crypto as well and blockchain. So like if you think about your tokens as like crypto, you potentially could use this the GPT you earn in this game on this platform. I like down the road, the vision, the dream, right, is that the GPT you earn would be tradable on the crypto exchange.
Dude,
and you could use that to buy NFTs. And then we also have some ideas for different NFT things as well that would be available that you could use your GPT to buy. To buy. So right now we're basically just giving away GPT, but eventually you'd be able to like transfer your GPT into this platform or buy it on the platform and then move it to to like your crypto wallet or something as
Chris,
well.
this guy's from the future.
I love
Dude,
it.
the dude's got us all planned out.
You
Holy
know,
hell, that's perfect.
I'm not gonna lie, when you started talking about like the formula market and the values of these different assets and stuff, then I started thinking like, all right, now a good aspect of any fantasy sport is betting with your friends. How do you make some money out of it? And you already have a vision for it. I really like that, and I think like NFTs, there could be prizes and stuff like best performer of the season. I don't know. It seems like your options are endless. Really, I really like where that's headed.
Yeah, literally,
Yeah,
every step you're making is funneling into the next thing going. Like it's perfectly leading in the timeline of this whole site and how it could, you're trading drivers, then it turns into, okay, now I'm buying stock. Now I have my own
In GPT,
cryptocurrency, and yeah, now I can bet with my friends. Now I can actually earn real life money with it. Now I can use that real life money with it. Then what? Let's say you get an NFT that gains access to even more content with this site. With it, like you're
yeah,
funneling everything into itself, and it's literally perfect. Wow.
yeah, yeah. Like again, like some of the ideas, like if you did an NFT that was basically like shares of a race, like each track we could offer, like some of the legendary tracks, maybe Monaco, we launch or we mint like 10 NFTs that are like Monaco NFTs. And if you buy one of those through our platform or whatever, then you get access to something at Monaco. And then for like some of the cheaper races or whatever, or like different experiences, we'll
Miami.
offer
Yeah,
no, not cheap.
Oh yeah,
No,
not cheap, but
Vegas
yeah,
is like, yeah. But no, but like then you could use that and you'd get like through this platform, those NFTs would be worth, they'd actually be worth something for real. And then if you wanted to, obviously because everything's kind of decentralized in that all of that, you could then trade your NFT that you get through here to someone else on some of the platform as well if you wanted to. But
yeah,
obviously, like we would offer everything through the platform.
I
Um,
like that. I
and
do have two questions for you.
sure,
Just two
yeah,
last questions about the platform. You're talking about tracks that kind of gets me thinking. Is there a potential to have another asset class as investing in a circuit potentially? Because we've had talk about what's going to stay on the grid,
yep,
what's going. Spa might get
yep,
cut. South Africa might have a track. Is
Monaco
that is
just got
that
announced that it's on
yep,
the calendar for next year.
yeah, yeah. So totally. One of the ideas I have, and you guys can tell me if you think it's cool or not, but is that you would also then be able to you could buy like shares of a track and if your like your drivers that you own shares of they'd get like a little boost when they raced on your track, depending on how much like you owned of the track. The other thing that I was thinking about is like translating attendance and stuff like that into
Mm-hmm.
owning the shares of a track as well. So if you buy, shares
Num-
of whatever Zandvoort
number
had, like they had like 500,000 people at Zandvoort right over the
Yeah,
weekend.
that whole weekend
Um,
they had like 400,000 people. It was crazy.
yeah, so you could, like, if you owned some shares of Zandvoort, like that would also give you some sort of return based on the attendance and total ticket, like just some different things like that. So that would almost be like a whole separate wing of this, but it
yeah.
would be part of the platform, right?
You could even do like number of overtakes on that circuit because that's going to be an exciting track, you know?
It would literally give you a boost of the weekend. Say I own Spa and we're racing in Spa this weekend, I would have like a +5 advantage or a plus whatever advantage
Yeah,
because I own shares in that track, and since we're racing
exactly.
on that track, I get just that little boost for the weekend. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that totally makes sense.
I like it.
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
and maybe that's something that's like an exclusive. So like not everybody can buy, these shares of a track. Only certain users who are at a certain tier, or maybe you've bought, a track. Maybe you're like a track agent NFT. I don't know. Now I'm literally just making this up as I'm talking here, but like, yeah, you have to like be a certain level like of
Yeah, you have to
user on
hit
the
like
app
a
to be able
certain
to buy.
threshold. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, to be able to buy track shares as well. So
Hmm.
yeah, no,
Interesting. I'm definitely a fan of that. And then the last question I have for you is, how does the drivers and constructors championships, how do they weigh in at the end of the season?
at this point, I don't have any implication for like winning. Like, so Max won't get any boost for winning the championship. Like all the drivers just get race points based on your value increases based on your race points. Um, so, and that's where like that dynasty idea comes in, right? Where this just will roll over into next season. So if you own shares of Oscar Piastri now, and you bought him at 100 GPT, and next season he's racing and he scores 10 points, your investment now is worth 10 times what it was. On
Mhm.
race week one, if he scores 10 points, he's gonna 10x your return on shares that you're buying today before he's even sat in the seat. Um,
Yeah, yeah, I do like that, but I also think, if you were to do the move, you're buying your Microsoft, you're buying your, Max Verstappen. I'm seeing him as kind of like your blue chip stock, right?
for sure.
Uh, the ultimate goal for these drivers is to win the championship. So I'm thinking, maybe that could be something you could implement is a big, maybe a
Lump
one-time
sum.
payout or something. Yeah, for
Totally.
winning the, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like people like, you're gonna see a dynasty driver like let's take a Lewis Hamilton 7-time world champion. That those 7 championships like maybe could represent some sort of boost or some sort of, okay, you're getting like this sort of pedigree, you're getting this sort of like level status of, all right, they have the track record to prove it, so that could also go into the calculation of return because
Mm-hmm.
especially if we're now entering, as of last year, the Max Verstappen era, and he goes on, a 4, 5, 6 run like that. That's got to amount for something too. That's got to boost his worth as well.
Yeah, certainly. And I think also in his platform inherently his value will go up with the race wins, but I think yeah, getting that extra like dividend or however you want to put it for winning
Yeah.
the championship, I think that would be
Right.
super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, and one of the things I've like tried to go back and forth on is like how to initially set the values of the drivers.
Hmm.
Because like I've come in the middle of a season, my thought is like maybe relaunching at the beginning of next season or in like the off season, and basically launching every driver at the same price, and then just letting the market go
Oh
and
yeah,
say,
let the market just determine what's going to go, because we all know obviously they're, I mean, Max, Lewis,
yeah,
George, Leclerc can be up there depending on his team. Like
right, right,
like I mean, the ones that'll be at the top will be at the top, but yeah, no, if you just open up the floodgates and be like, go
yeah,
market, go crazy, that
yeah,
that actually would be cool to see.
yeah,
Certainly. Yeah,
and that
and
and that
definitely.
ideally, ideally that's with like a good sized like a lot of users. Right now obviously you wouldn't get as much like interaction and stuff, but like kind of making an event where we basically like ring the bell, or and launch, and then everyone comes in and just go, and then within hours and probably maybe like a week or whatever, you'd have the actual values.
Yeah, that would, dude. That actually be insanity. Chris, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I think that does sound like a good idea. I'll definitely have my alarm set for that so I can just smash the Max Verstappen button, buying all those shares. But I think, inherently maybe some drivers should be worth a little bit more. Like obviously, if that was to happen, no one's jumping in there buying Kevin Magnussen right off rip. So it would be definitely more of a benefit to the early, adopters.
Yeah,
But I guess that's
Esteban
the markets.
Midcon or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think it
I
sounds
think
awesome.
I think that's like that would really be the best way to like kick off the whole thing, right? Is having everyone the same price and then just letting the market evolve. And a year from now, then you'd actually potentially have these drivers the same levels that they are today in terms of their prices,
Hmm.
but it would be organic. So it would be like actually develop, like the market would really tell us, hey, these guys are the top drivers. These guys are the guys that you should stay away from.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's super cool. I'm excited to be a part of this testing process, and I'm looking forward to like the super launch that you have. Um, and yeah, I'm hoping that more people get to find out about this because I think it's super exciting. I know you said you've got some other obligations, so I don't want to take your time too long. It was certainly really fun to chat about the platform, and I like
Yeah,
the vision as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Honestly,
Thanks so
dude.
much for having me on. Yeah, yeah.
This.
Really appreciate the chance to talk about it, and obviously, appreciate you guys trying it out, checking it out. Anyone who wants to try it out right now, it's super helpful to us because we're able to test it. It's kind of like a safe environment, and we're breaking some things sometimes, but then you usually get it fixed pretty quickly, and then every time that happens, the app just gets better and better. So
Yeah,
really appreciate
absolutely.
it.
But no, I mean, dude, it's been a pleasure having you on, and I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone listening. If you go on Twitter at formula_market is where you can find him. Please go click the link in his bio and sign up for his platform of Fantasy F1 and the market, and create an account, start investing, and help build
It's free.
this
It's free to
platform,
do
man. It's
this.
free to join. It's the best, way to just get your hands dirty and start building your team, and invest in shares in this and start seeing the return. But yeah, just one more time, at formula_market, click the link in his bio and go ahead and sign up for free, man. Like I promise you won't regret it. The platform's awesome.
Thanks. Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah, of
no
course.
problem, man. It's been awesome, man.
Alrighty, so let's get into some of these the driver situation, what's going on in the F1 world. We've seen some disappointing news. Danny Rick is going out here saying that he's accepted he might not have a future in Formula One. How do you
Dude,
feel about that, Tyler?
brother, I'm not even gonna lie, man. Obviously him swallowing his pride is a big thing, and he's got the whole track vouching for him, saying that he needs to be on the grid racing. And you got even Lewis Hamilton, when asked that, hey, could you see Danny Rick possibly coming to Mercedes as a reserve driver, he instantly answered the question saying,
Hell no.
well, yeah, absolutely not, he needs to be racing. So it's like, it's a very big thing for Danny Rick to be swallowing his pride and accepting that. But you know, F1's a cutthroat sport, and you kind of have to be realistic about things. And with the headlines I'm seeing, man, the door is closing, and it is a little depressing to say out loud. And I'm gonna go cry in a corner after this is over.
Yeah. For those of you guys on the Formula market, do not invest in the Danny Rick shares. It's going to be highly volatile, and I mean, maybe do. It might pay off for you. Who
Are you
knows?
are you giving financial advice, bro?
I'm giving I'm giving Formula market advice. Yes, I'm a fantasy Formula market advisor. Uh, but yeah, no, Danny Rick's situation, man, it hurts, dude. I want to see him there next year, especially with Vegas coming up. Like, he deserves one race in Vegas at least.
Bro, he was so he said it years ago. He was so stoked to see a Vegas race. Now with it announced, he gets the rug pulled out from under him, dude. It hurts
Yeah,
so bad.
yeah.
Oh
But
man.
hey, other than rumors, I'm hearing there are rumors that Haas should be getting a major U.S. sponsor. So, are we going to see them get actually like a super nice title sponsor, get some good money coming in?
Dude, who I mean, one, like more sponsorship money would only put them way more in the driver's seat, no pun intended. But who are we talking that it has the rumor, like have they detailed the rumor of who possibly can sponsor it, or have they detailed? I haven't really looked into that heavily.
Yeah, let me pull this up on Twitter. I saw it on there. This news is broke by Joe Sayward. And he's got a podcast also, Missed Apex podcast.
Hey, let's
But yeah,
go.
no, he broke the news on it. It doesn't say who the American company might be, so maybe we can speculate a little bit of what we think, what we'd like to
Dodge.
see. But
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Dodge.
I'm just kidding.
But no, uh, the rumor is that they're getting that this company wants to sponsor them for essentially 3 seasons and possibly longer, depending on how
Oh,
they do.
that screams title sponsor all over it, bro.
It does.
That's big money right there.
That's big money.
Dude, well, I
Yeah.
mean,
Who-
with their lineup coming in, I mean, shit, dude, they're going back and forth with, you have Kevin Magnussen saying he wouldn't mind working with Hulkenberg. You've got Mick
Mm,
still being considered. Like, it's with what they're doing, man. Haas really turned in almost overnight within a season, getting rid of Nikita, the Russian sponsorship, and really starting anew and finessing all the money as well. Like, yeah, I mean, they're only looking up with this, but go on. What were you gonna speculate with it?
honestly, I just wanted to think about like what players are in the U.S. that would want to get sponsorship in F1. Um, and I don't know, man. Like, are we gonna see a Wonder Bread F1 car?
There we go. Ricky Bobby.
Ricky
Like,
Bobby. If
dude,
you don't
that would
shoot,
be insane.
oh man.
That would be awesome, bro. I mean, they have the colors. They have the colors: red, white, and blue, a little bit of yellow. Like that would be actually pretty sick.
Yeah,
Wonder
I
Bread.
guess you have to think that if it's a major U.S. sponsor, they're probably involved in IndyCar, maybe involved in NASCAR. Like, hmm,
Man,
I
could we
don't
see
know.
a McDonald's sponsorship of Haas? Like, or
Oh
maybe they
no.
lean in. I know Under Armour sponsors them a little bit. I know they have ties with Haas and they
Okay,
have ties with Mick Schumacher. I don't know if they're like, title sponsor caliber, but
hear me out on this one.
okay.
Air Jordan.
Dude.
Dude, that would be so hard.
Dude, the Jumpman logo on the side of a Haas car, that would be insane.
They're jumping the constructors, baby. Pete, if they get an Air Jordan sponsor, they're finishing first.
Dude,
I don't
I
care
need
what
that
anyone
livery
says.
to have Air Jordan Duncan inside the halo.
Jumpman, Jumpman, Jumpman. He
Dude,
goes up to
that,
something.
oh my god. That would be insane. That would be awesome. Obviously, that's just huge speculation, but that would be stupid cool to see. Holy
Yeah, we're
hell.
just totally BSing right here. I have no idea who it's going to be, but that would be a cool one. But yeah, drivers, Mick, he's got the contract in question. Uh, but one of the I think a reason why his contract's in question is because Alpine, they still haven't picked a driver yet.
Bro, I almost think it might actually bite them in the ass that they're so hesitant to commit on someone now because it was okay, it's going to be a one for one. Danny Rick's going to Alpine and Piastri was going to McLaren. I thought that was just going to be a clear one for one. Now, in comes Colton Herta, in comes the Pierre Gasly deal that fell through. In comes like I think today
Apparently,
I saw a weird headline saying Antonio Giovinazzi is now being considered somehow.
what?
It,
I'm seeing this.
yeah,
There's a new guy, Jack Doohan. I think that's how you say his last name. Apparently, he's in the running too. And then obviously Pierre Gasly's always been in the
Yeah, and you
mix.
got Mick that throw his hat in there, and the fact that they seem absolutely clueless on what they got to do might actually come back and bite them in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, what would Otmar do? It's not make a good decision or make any decision, I guess.
I was about to say, I was like, he'll give a suggestion, but he won't give a definitive decision. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I think this just plays into uh what you were saying, that Otmar is really not a great leader. So yeah, you know, now I'm thinking maybe Formula Market, you should add some uh construct or not constructors, but
Team
the team
principles.
principals. I would
Yeah,
invest in some Toto,
I would invest some Toto, some Christian Horner, maybe
some
even a
Gunther
little
for
bit of
sure.
Gunther. Oh yeah.
I'm getting a lot of Gunther.
Oh yeah, maybe even Yost, Mr. Jost for Williams. He's within the past 2 years of him being at the helm of it, he's got a winning attitude, and I think he just given some time and given the right driver lineup, he could really do something there at Williams.
I think one thing you can say also about Williams is they did the best at something this year, which is have the fastest car. So that is a major win, I think. You don't want to be just out there lollygagging, your car is not good anywhere. Like they at least have one area that their car excels in.
Yeah,
So
no, you're right.
that shows they're developing and they're making improvements.
Well, I mean, with the revolving door at Alpine, with the uncertainty at Haas, and whoever Latifi's still convinced that he's got a shot at that freaking seat, which I really think, like, bro, after Nick came in and did his thing, he exceeded far past the expectation of what he should have done that weekend. And you've seen Latifi come out this week saying, "Oh, our car isn't designed to overtake. Oh, our car is slow in corners. Oh, our car is this. Oh, our car is." Bruh, you are getting out qualified every weekend, and you had a freaking just on the cuffs driver drop into a seat and smoke you all weekend. What's the
Yeah.
excuse? So it's like with that revolving door going, I mean, let's just talk top of the table now. Can are we going to see a Mercedes P2 this year?
Um I think it's definitely in the realm of possibilities. I think after that technical directive came through, um, the Ferrari car is closer to Mercedes than it is to Red Bull at this point, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think I very clearly I think P1 for both constructors and drivers are locked up, complete no pun intended.
Lo-
Yeah, it's completely locked up for Max winning the championship, Red Bull getting the constructors, which would mark the first constructors in a while for Red Bull. So that's a definite win, and especially now that they're going into building their own powertrains. That's the exact momentum you need. But I mean, yeah, I think it's definitely a battle for P2 now with Ferrari having a little bit of the edge, but Mercedes really catching them because of their consistency.
Yeah, and they're just developing in the best way possible. Like they're getting podiums like every week now.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
I mean, it's gotten normal. I mean, George went from begging for points last year to, yep, just another day in the office, a nice little P3, P2, super excited about it, but I want that
remember
win.
remember at the start of the season when it was laughable that we would see a Mercedes on the podium? We're like the only way they're getting there is if the top four DNF.
I mean, Chris, it
Now,
was a shitbox.
yeah, but now it doesn't matter what the rest of the grid's doing. They could definitely get a P3 because they can compete now.
Oh no, they're up there with the higher echelon because, like you said, you're right. The consistency did save them because at the time, something was always going to go wrong with Ferrari and Red Bull. So when something went wrong, because it was definitely a matter of fact of when, Mercedes was there to pick up the pieces because, like Toto said, he'd rather see the finish line 9 times out of 10. And early season, that proved to be that kept him in the race single handedly. And now, now that they've just skyrocketed with the development, they have a whole new body style of zero side pods. They have a whole, the porpoising minimized down. They real, they guinea pigged Lewis. That worked out. They applied it to both cars. He ganged up to George, and everything about Mercedes, they're firing very literally on all cylinders. Being both of their drivers are driving out of their minds. Both of them are out qualifying each other. Their equilibrium is perfect. I mean, in my opinion, definitely I don't think it's outside of the realm of we can see a Mercedes P2 by the end of this year at Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that I would almost bet money that they're going to finish P2. I bought into them on Formula Market, and yeah, if there was, if you want to make a bet with me right now, I got $100 on Mercedes P2 finish.
I mean, yeah, I'm willing to put money on it as well. But I mean, dude, this episode actually has been really cool. I like how we started off with the guests. We had Formula Market. I'm glad that he joined up. His time he had very minimal time to work with, but hey man, we're relaxed and very laid back, and I'm glad he got to come on and explain his platform and really get people going on it. And I'm glad you're on it to test it, and the fact that you're basically testing it in beta is actually kind of cool because now you can grow with the platform too. I need to get on it as well.
Yeah, you should get on it. I'm up on the leaderboards. I'm trailing behind freaking F1 Fantasy Hub, our other boy. But hey, we're up there on the leaderboards. You see me on there, Chickson. So yeah, I mean, this was episode 37. Definitely a different style of episode for us, but happy to do it. I'm hoping you guys appreciate it, and definitely check out Formula Market's Twitter, his website. Sign up for the platform; it's free. Check us out on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, uh, freaking every streaming platform known to mankind, and maybe even
Yeah,
some on
literally.
Mars.
Literally. We got some fucking stock on Mars, dude. But also I do want to give like a little sneak peek of, keep your eyes out on the next episode. My boy's coming back in town. The dude will be in Houston. We're gonna be in the same spot, so you know what that means. You
Yeah,
you
the
know what that
boys are
means
back
coming
in
up.
town.
Boys are back in town. But
Yeah.
but yeah, guys, episode 37 in the books. We will be back racing here probably in a week and a half. And yeah, man, Chris, it's been a pleasure. Shout out Formula Market. Please click the link in his bio, visit his site, and yeah, we hope y'all have a good rest of the day, and we'll catch y'all on the next one.
Later, guys.
Later.